The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
You're listening to CFRN, a community of believers who trade for a living. To learn more about who we are, what we do, and how we do it, call toll-free 1-866-928-3310, and we'll send you out a no-obligation information kit absolutely free. 866-928-3310. The CFRN Emini Futures Cast is now on Stitcher. Listen to us on your iPhone, Android phones, BlackBerry, and WebOS phones. Stitcher is smart radio for your phone. Find it in your app store or at Stitcher.com. Stitcher Smart Radio, the smarter way to listen to radio.
Are you ready, Steve? Andy? Yeah! Bert? Well, all right, fellas. Let's go!
You're listening to CFRN, the Christian Financial Radio Network.
Today's broadcast is brought to you by Audible. Get a free audiobook download at www.audibletrial.com/CFRN. Over 85,000 titles. Choose from mystery, romance, religion, science, technology, business, New York Times bestsellers, even children's books. You name it, Audible has it. With 85,000 titles to choose from, you're sure to find the perfect audiobook for yourself or to give as a gift, and it's absolutely free. Just point your browser to audibletrial.com/CFRN. That's audibletrial.com/CFRN. And become a part of the audiobook revolution by downloading your free audiobook today. audibletrial.com/CFRN.
Hey, trader, want to get rich quick? Well, good luck with that. If, on the other hand, you actually want to learn how to trade, the place to be is www.cfrn.net. Tune in Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Eastern for our daily devotional, and then spend the next 3 hours learning how it's done from professional traders who actually trade for a living. That's www.cfrn.net. Every trading day from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern. CFRN, a community of believers who trade for a living.
Good afternoon, traders, and welcome back to the CFRN Emini Futures Cast. This is the daily broadcast of Indeterminate Length, where we discuss all things E-mini, along with some really big ideas on the finer points of trading gold, bonds, crude, sugar, the euro, and even T-bills. Joining us today from our studios in Boston, Mr. Michael Bork. From our trading desk in Chicago, Mr. Burton Schlichter. Now, to get things started, let's go to our host and founder in Studio A, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. Here's Dwayne.
Good afternoon. Welcome back. Today's Wednesday, 7th day of October, 2020. Thanks so much for joining us. Whoever you are, wherever you are, we're just glad to have you right here, right now. If you can't see the screen I have up, go to our homepage at CFRN.net. On the right-hand side of the page, click the big microphone, follow the instructions. You'll be registered in about 30 seconds, and that will give you one-click access to the show each and every day. On the days you're out of the office, away from the desktop, not to worry, point any internet-connected browser to cfrn.net/live. There you'll find a live, real-time simulcast of the show as it unfolds. You just won't have access to the chat box. Let's open with a word of prayer. Father, we thank you today for all of your blessings, for your mercy, and for your grace. Our prayer today, God, is just that as we come together in unison, Lord, we pray for John. By the power of the Holy Spirit, we just pray for healing in his body, clarity in his mind, his ability to live life to its fullest, the way you intended. We thank you for all your many blessings. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. So, let me give you the numbers from around the world here real quick. These are the cash markets as they're called, or the indices. Let me pull in some fresh data. All right, in the U.S. markets, the Dow currently up 404 points. NASDAQ up 164. S&P 500 up 42. The Russell 2000 up 27. Now that puts everything up almost 1.5%, with the exception of the S&P, which is up 1.25%. The Russell is up 1.75%. In the commodity basket, crude oil down $1.09, trading $39.58 last. That's a drop of a little over 2.5%. Gold down $20, trading $18.8860 last. It's a drop of 1%. Silver trading $23.79 last. It's a drop of 13 cents. And in the Asian markets at the close, Nikkei down 11, Shanghai down 6, Hang Seng up 262, which is a little over 1%. And the European markets, FTSE down 4, DAX up 22, and the CAC down 13. So that gives us a mixed day in Asia. It's a mixed day in the UK, but it's a big green Radio Wednesday here in the US of A. So with that, let's go to Michael and get a recap of everything that happened this morning in the live training room. Michael, if you're ready, you can take it away.
I am ready. And this is probably going to be a quick one, even though I did 19 trades this morning.
Okay.
But I got to take Jake to the DMV to get his driver's license.
Oh,
and we have an appointment.
That's a big day in the life of a young man.
Yeah, it is. And we have an appointment. And, you know, the appointments are scheduled like 2 months out right now.
Oh,
so
wow.
we can't mess that up. All right. Let me bring this up. Show you that I had another good day. It was kind of a challenge for me today. I mean, you ever watch that show, The Race? Where, you know, they got that really, really smart guy.
The
and they have
Race. No, I don't think I've watched that.
Okay, well, it's a time-based show where they have one guy who just knows just about everything. And they have 3 other really smart people who compete against him to answer a question. And they get points every time. You know, well, they get advanced every time they answer the question. Today, I'm
Dwayne.
I challenged myself. And this was like at what? I think it was 11:10, roughly 11:10. I said, okay. So I want to get to the daily average by the time we're done, you know, at 11:25, and so I needed to make $171 to get there in those few minutes, and well, luckily the markets gave it up for me. And I did. But here we go.
All right.
Good afternoon, everyone. Today is the 7th day of October, 2020. Today we made 32 ticks on crude, 16 ticks in gold, and 16 ticks on the ES. We had 1 break-even trade on the euro. That put us up 680 on the morning session. Today it took 30 minutes and 3 trades to get to the goal for the day. At that point, we're up $100 a contract, and we took a total of 19 trades this morning. Now, on the month, we're only 5 days into the month of October, but we're up $3,367 a contract, averaging $673. See? 680? 673. Today is my 161st consecutive day of getting the gold. And on the year now, we're at $78,824. That's over 186 trading days, averaging $423 per contract per 2-hour trading day. And as you are about to see, I miss a whole bunch of trades. I'm going to start out with gold, but first I want to say, if you are not part of the CFRN family yet, and you want to be part of the CFRN family, we've made it easy and affordable. Go to EminiFuturesTrading.com. EminiFuturesTrading.com. Everything you need to know is right there. Okay, you can go to CFRN.net, and there is just a ton of information on that website. But EminiFuturesTrading.com, it shortens the beginning of the experience. Okay, so we're going to start out with gold. On our first trade on gold, we were right here. We made 1 tick, right? And now gold, I usually kill gold, and I was having a hard time in here. I had to reboot, so all this stuff that happened right in here, where I would have got my gold there, I would have got my gold there, I would have got my gold there, I would have got my gold here. I missed all that because I had to reboot. My computer got locked up this morning. I mean, I started everything up on time, but then it just locked up on me. There was this one thing I printed for my son because the whole driver's license stuff, and for some reason that locked up my computer. I couldn't close it, and it was covering up all my DOMs. Anyway, so over here we got 2 more ticks to put us at +3. Oh no, I'm sorry, that was a break even. Here we got 2 more ticks to put us at +3. And then I didn't record that one. And on this one, we stopped out, and that put us at -5. Okay, then right here we picked up 12 ticks to put us at +7. Then we picked up 5 ticks to put us at +12. And then 4 more ticks right over here to put us at +16. And this was in that challenge period where I was trying to find a trade that was a valid trade that would likely work. Okay, so then we got in here. Since I had done that, I didn't want to risk anything else during the training room. But during the break, there was one really nice trade. Where was it? Right here. Right here. That one and this one. Okay. Now, remember, you only need one of those a day. Okay, and I'm not even going over the YVR trades because I gotta do this thing with my boy. All right, on the euro, we only had 1 trade, and it was right here, and it was a break even. But there's a YVR trade here, a YVR trade here, and a YVR trade here, and a YVR trade here. All of them worked. There's another YVR trade right here during the break that worked out, but there just wasn't a lot other than the YVR trades. There wasn't much going on the euro today. Now crude oil, we did pretty well with crude today, and crude and the ES were the ones that really helped me get to that mark that I wanted to get to. But our first trade on crude was right here. We picked up 2 ticks. The next trade was right here. We picked up 9 more to put us at +11. The next trade was right over here. Well, there was actually a trade off the BBC right here that I missed, but that was during the crude inventories, so I really didn't want to be involved in that. I think when I saw the crude inventories coming up, I said, okay, well, the crude inventories are coming up, and I don't really want to trade during the crude inventories, so I'm just going to step away for a minute. And I did, and I came back, and I missed this beautiful trade, but that's okay. I'll give that up. And the inventories actually came in. They came in with a bigger build than what was expected, I think. Let me go look. Let me go look and verify that for you. Here we go. Yeah, they came in with a build when they were expecting a draw, so that's bad news. Okay. So price should go up, meaning the price should go down. Because we had a bigger pile, so we had more supply than we had demand. That's what that means. Okay, that's why it's red now. They flipped that around. It used to not be that way. I don't know how many months ago it was, probably 6 months ago. They changed around the way that they do the red and the green on that, because I think they changed their philosophy. You know, when the whole COVID thing started, a lot of philosophies got changed. But anyway, on this trade right here, on crude, we picked up, well, we were at plus 11, right? Yeah, we're at plus 11. And then we went to plus 18, so we picked up 7 ticks there. Break even there. Plus 5 there. And there's something I'm missing in here, because we ended up... Let me go back to the beginning. Hang on. This won't take long. Plus 2. Plus 9. Plus 7. Break even. Plus 5. Oh, I know what it was. It was right at the end in here when I was trying to get to my objective. And I believe it was right here. From there to there. I picked up 9 ticks to put me at plus 32. And during the break, it was really choppy and messy. Okay, on the ES. The ES is what finally got me to the objective. This trade right here, I picked up 4 ticks. But let me back that out, because there was a lot of movement today. Alright, so our first trade on the ES was right here. We picked up 8 ticks on that. Second trade was right here. We picked up 4 more ticks to put us at plus 12. We had a break even. And this was our last trade right here. That put us at plus 16. Okay, and that's what got me over the $680, or to the $680 mark. Now you got to remember, there's a lot of stuff that's going on in here. You know, during the live training room, when I'm going through everything that's happening, you know, I'm telling you, okay, well, it looks like we're going to set up along here, but we're not there yet. And I wouldn't do anything with this right here, because we're just choppy and sideways, and all the markets are choppy and sideways right now. We're too close to the weekly trading zone. So, I mean, I may be talking really fast like I am right now, I know. But I'm saying a lot of things that are important. And, you know, anytime I start doing that, because I'm, you know, it's just my train of thought coming out of my mouth. And anytime I start doing that, if I'm going too fast, tell me I'm going too fast. Say, slow down. Say that again. I mean, Valerie every now and then will stop me and say, can you explain that again? Or, you know, I'll bring my Dom over and I'll do like 5 things on my Dom, and she did it today. She said, can you explain what you just did with your Dom? And it's just the way that I place orders and do things, so that I can get into the trades, and I can take profit on the trades, and I can get out at break even on the trades, and I can cancel waiting orders on the trades, things like that. Okay, Ray, how is Anna doing? You weren't there this morning. I was going to ask you this morning.
Yes,
Anna's a
and that
potential.
was, shame on me, Anna is on our permanent prayer list as well.
Yeah, she's going to become a partner when she gets her health back, but she sadly got the virus. Good, she's doing better. All right, well, if she wants to talk to me again, just let me know. Okay, I can do something later this afternoon. I don't know how long this DMV thing is going to take. I have no idea how much it's going to cost. All I know is what I got to bring, and I've got all that. One of them is my son. but all right. With that said, let's bring this back up. Well, these were the news events for today. Okay. The crude inventories came in at 0.5. It will build at 0.5. That means that crude is stacking up, so prices should go down, logically, right? Get a bigger pile. More supply than demand. At 2 o'clock, FOMC meeting minutes come out. You see, that's a high impact. That's a big deal. You probably don't want to be trading at that time. I'm going to have a 10-year bond auction in a half an hour. And We also have this FOMC guy speaking, but where is he speaking at? To speak about racism in the economy. Oh, yeah, that's yeah. Okay, so you probably don't want to be in the markets at 1 o'clock either. You know, I watched a little bit of the news last night, and it's all bad news. There is so much going on over in like Syria and all that stuff that it's just awful. I hate watching the news. You know, they had an armed militia walking through Louisiana. I mean, they're really armed. It's just craziness. That's why I don't watch the news. It's like, man, is this really going on? Okay, so here we go. Today is the 7th day of October, 2020. We made 32 ticks in crude, 16 ticks in gold, and 16 ticks on the, put us at plus 680 on the morning session. And I did one YBR trade this morning, and it actually stopped out. So I got to put minus 80 on that. Sorry. And it stopped out. All right, today it took 30 minutes and 3 trades to get to the goal for the day. At that point, we're up $100 a contract, and we took a total of 19 trades. So on the month now, we're up $3,287. That's over 5 trading days, averaging $657 per contract per 2-hour trading day. This is my 161st consecutive day of getting the goal. On the year now, we're at $78,744. That's over 186 trading days, averaging $423 per contract per 2-hour trading day. If you are not part of the CFRN family yet, and you want to become part of the family, we've made it easy and affordable. Just go to eminifuturestrading.com and you become a permanent lifetime member, or you can become a weekly member. Either one. That's all you have to do. Okay. And with that, I'm going to pass it back out to fabulous Phoenix, Arizona, Studio A, overlooking South Park, South Mountain, America's largest city park. Dwayne, if you are ready. And yeah, Ray, you can give her my phone number if you want to. I think, I've called her already and talked to her. So just give her my phone number. I don't know what time I'm going to be back after this DMV thing, but if she wants to call me later today, that'd be okay.
Well, good luck with that. I'm sure he's prepared for it.
He is. He's been gathering all the things. I mean, the documentation, because now they have this new thing. You get a star on your driver's license, and it's like a passport. Like in the future, if you didn't have a passport, October of 2021, if you don't have a passport, you can't fly domestically on planes.
Right. I think they call it a travel card here in Arizona.
Yeah.
Maybe different states have different names. I don't know.
Yeah. So you got to bring, a lot of documentation, and I'm not sure I have all the documentation that I need to get it on mine, but I do have a passport. So, so I'm okay. But Jake, since we're doing it, just do it right. And I do have all of his documentation. So, all right, that's it, guys. With that, I give you Dwayne.
Alrighty. Oh, recap of the recap was?
30 minutes, 3 trades, $100 a contract.
Good job.
Thank you.
Okie doke. All right, guys. Now, according to my computer, we are streaming live on YouTube, but for some reason, I'm not as convinced as I was yesterday. But I do see that we did stream live yesterday on YouTube, and so I think what happened is it might have got a late start today, but I've got it set up like a VCR so that you could actually scroll back, but you can't scroll back because I didn't have it turned on. And for some reason, DT Pro just logged me out, and now let me see if it's going to log me back in. Yes, it looks like it will. All right, real quick before we go to the charts, Logic 247. That is our 24/7 around-the-clock Emini alert service. We open for business Sunday night, 6 p.m. Eastern, and the channel remains open until Friday afternoon at 5 p.m. Eastern, when the futures markets close. Typically, folks think of the markets as being open from 9:30 to 4, Monday through Friday. Joan says YouTube is on. Thank you very much for that feedback, Joan. I appreciate it. Most people think of the world of trading as being something that happens Monday through Friday from 9:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern. However, we know a little something else. We know about the futures market, which trades around the clock, 24/7. With the exception of Friday night, Saturday, Sunday, then Sunday night, 6 p.m. Eastern. That's when it kicks into gear. Now, so far this week, week 114 of the lifespan of Logic 247, we've issued a total of 35 alerts. 11 never triggered. Still waiting on the results of 2. So we've had 22 actionable alerts so far this week. One of those stopped out based on not risking more than $300 per contract per trade. So that's 5% of actionable alerts stopped out. Now, that's not a typical number. What we've averaged over the last 114 weeks, we've averaged 20% being stopped out. So from a number of alerts total, we're not setting the world on fire, but for the percentage stopped out, it's a better than average week. Now, those alerts, what they look like when they're coming at you is this. In the private Telegram channel, here's last week's results, week 113. We had 54 total alerts, 6 never triggered, 5 carried over. We had 43 actionable alerts. 2 of those were stopped out, so that's 5% of actionable alerts. Again, that's not a typical number, okay? We've had some better than average weeks when it comes to stop outs over the last few weeks, but the average we've maintained over the 114 week period is 20%. So when the markets opened Sunday night, we had our carryovers initially. There's the Dow. That one ran up $155 per contract. Then we had a carryover that didn't trigger. Then we had a long on the Russell. B stands for buy. T stands for initial target. And on a long, PR, that stands for potential resistance, or you might think of it as second target. And then the final trade to target on each alert is the weekly trading zone above on a long or the weekly trading zone below on a short. That one was worth $135 per contract traded. Moving on to gold, which was a short. That one was good for $980 per contract traded. The red X means stop out. And that's exactly what happened. And the maximum we risked per contract per trade is $300. We use a 3-step methodology that I teach all of our traders. It's a very simple process. I teach that to you in our first one-on-one mentoring session, and then you apply that to each and every alert that you trade. Keeping in mind that the goal of giving you these alerts is we don't just give you the alerts to trade. We teach you. Michael works very diligently every morning for 2 hours from 9:30 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. teaching you how to find these opportunities on your own. So while he's teaching you how to find them, I'm giving them to you. And those two things work together real good like a hand and a glove, so that someday you won't need him or me. All you need is to sit down in front of the chart, look at the market, and then you'll know, based on our very simple methodology and strategy, if there is an opportunity. Is it a long opportunity? Is it a short opportunity? What's the reasonable target? And what is the reasonable stop? This was a no trigger on silver. This was a long on crude. This was a long B buy on the Dow, the YM. No trigger on the NQ. And this was a long on the Russell. This one ran up $505 per contract traded. Now, if you've earned the right to trade 10 contracts, well, then that would be $5,000. But you don't start with 10 contracts. In fact, you don't even start with one live contract. When you start out, when you first get your passport, you start in SIM, and the goal there is to put together, as you're learning our methodology and our strategy, which again is very simple, we want to see you put together 10 consecutive days in a row where you reach your goal in 10 trades or less. Once you do that, once you put together that string of 10 consecutive days, our blueprint, it's called the 2420 blueprint, because it's designed to help you to go from 1 to 20 contracts over a period of 24 months. The blueprint will give you the green light to go live with just one contract. Now your goal is to trade that one contract until you increase your account balance by $2,000. Once you do that, the blueprint will give you the green light to add a second contract. And the big difference between the first contract and the second contract, not only does it obviously double your earnings, not only does that double your earnings, but you're adding with profit you earned in the market. You see, that first contract that you put on live, that of course has to come from your savings, the money that you've set aside for the purpose of trading. But as you go from one contract to two contracts, you're adding the second with profit you earned in the market. From the second to the third, from the third to the fourth, every time the blueprint says, okay, you've spent enough time trading at this level, it's time to increase the number of contracts. You should never feel forced to increase. There's no pressure to increase the number of contracts. But the blueprints gave me the green light that, okay, you've spent enough time at this level. If you're mentally ready, add another contract. But you're always adding the next contract with profit you earned in the market. Now, following the blueprint, following that formula, doesn't mean you could never blow up an account again. Something we all have experience with. However, if you follow the rules, if you follow the blueprint, it will make it very difficult. You'll have to break a lot of rules in order to blow up the account. Because any time that you have 2 days back to back where you do not reach your goal in 10 trades or less, you come out of the live market, you go back into the simulator, you book a one-on-one mentoring session with myself or Michael or both of us, and we go over your trades with you because you log every trade. We go over the trades with you in a screen share session in a GoToMeeting environment and help you figure out why, in fact, you don't have the capital available to add the next contract. Once we get that sorted out and you trade a couple days in SIM, get your confidence back, then you go back live right where you left off. Okay? So as we continue on through this week, this was the last trade for October 5th. It was a long on the S&P. That was worth $137.50 per contract traded. Then silver. This was a short. It was good for $975 per contract traded. A long on the Dow, $110 per contract traded. Here's a long on crude oil. Is worth $230 per contract traded. This was the long on the S&P, just $62.50. A long on the Russell, $285 per contract traded. Here's a short on gold, $110 per contract traded. S&P short, $62.50 per contract traded. We had a no trigger on the S&P and no trigger on the Dow, and they were still waiting on results of this gold trade. And then there's a short on silver, short on the Russell, or no trigger. That's no trigger, no trigger. Z's just means market kind of fell asleep, price went the other way, and Therefore, the entry price, the trigger, was never touched. Okay? So all these E's right here, just never triggered. Crude oil, $100 per contract. Here's another crude oil. Now, this was a long on crude, and this was a hedge, which was a short. So crude gave us some two-sided action. $130 per contract traded. Here's a hedge on the Dow, $115 per contract traded. Here's a long on the S&P, $75. Here's a long, a hedge long buy on the Russell, $130 per contract. Hedge on the NQ, that one was good for $560 per contract traded. And still waiting on results here on this gold. Okay? Now, those are the Logic 247 alerts. Those come around the clock. They could be 2 a.m., could be 2 p.m. When you're not in the right mindset for trading, in other words, you're sleeping, or you're out to dinner, or you're driving, you turn notifications off on your messaging client, Telegram. When you're ready to trade, you just turn notifications back on. While you've had the notifications turned off, there's a good chance that any number of alerts may have come through, and it doesn't mean you necessarily missed the boat, because some of them may not have triggered yet. And for the ones that have triggered, if you've watched the show for any length of time, you know that important prices and important areas are almost always tested. So I'm going to give you the Concierge Trade Alerts now. These are a little bit different. These come out as a static report. They come out at the beginning of each session, okay, shortly thereafter. Now, today's Wednesday, but the Wednesday session started last night, Tuesday, at 6 p.m. Eastern. So we got them out at 6:15. Each one of the markets that we cover, you'll have a long, you'll have a short. Okay, you should draw two lines in the sand. Everything in between is price trying to make up its mind what it really wants to do, bigger picture. Now, you draw these lines in the sand for the entire session because once triggered, there's a high probability that these numbers will, in fact, trigger again. S&P, Dow, Russell, Crude, NQ, there's gold, and there's silver. Okay. Now, those are the Concierge Trade Alerts for this session. Let's go to the charts, and we'll start out with the daily chart of the S&P. Okay, now these fibs that you see go from we're looking at just the last leg up, okay? June 29th, the swing high put in on September 3rd at 35.76 and a quarter. Now, got to be very cautious with this type of a new all-time high because it's a new high of only one tick. Not good. It's not a very convincing new all-time historic high. And to see that one tick fade into a day that takes us all the way back to the BBC, that's a pretty good indication that lower prices are coming. Now, this green line that you see on the chart, we don't use a lot of indicators. In fact, what you see on my chart, it's pretty much all we use. It's all we've needed since we began. When price is above the green line, BBC just stands for bull, bear, cross. When price crosses above the BBC, we anticipate higher prices. And then when price crosses below the BBC, we anticipate lower prices. Price found support here at the 62% Fibonacci retracement, which also lines up with, you see this swing high here, and you see these lows right here, and this low right here. Is that unusual? Is that a coincidence? Not at all. It's the geometry that's built into the markets. Now you can spend a lifetime trying to figure it out, or you can just accept it. Yesterday, we talked about the potential for filling this window of opportunity. We talked about these swing highs matching that swing high, putting us above this bearish cross, and then we sold off. And on the overnight session on Globex, looked like we were definitely heading lower. But if you had flipped over to your daily chart, you would have seen that the sell-off that we encountered was running right into blue and climbing on the daily chart. Now, the official name for this indicator is the CFMA1. Okay, I just refer to it as blue and climbing and red and falling. Blue and climbing represents bullishness or support. Red and falling represents resistance or bearishness. Okay, so when we've got blue and climbing above the BBC, I mean, if you've got those two things, then you know you're good to be long up until price runs into an obstacle that it can't overcome. Now, when we hit this previous swing high right here, what did it do? Resistance sent us back to the BBC looking for support. Resistance will always send the market looking for support. Support will then send the market looking for resistance. Okay, we spent 3 days at that same level, 3 sessions, and then we finally bounced up to that 50% Fibonacci retracement. Now, from the low to the high, these are the regular fibs. If we do it the other way, we can also draw reverse fibs. The laws of Fibonacci, the math, the 14th century math of Fibonacci works in both directions. So from the swing high to the swing low, we can see that this bounce, which came off the 62% retracement of the 62% fib of the last leg up, bounced us up to the 50% reverse fib, which came from the swing high to the swing low. So this is what the market is facing now. We need to get above yesterday's swing high. That's resistance. Now you'll notice that the 62% reverse fib and the 24% regular fib, those are overlapping. So that gives that area sort of double strength. So we see this as resistance times 2. But if we can get above that, if we can close above that, then the market has nothing really in its way to go up and challenge the all-time historic high, with the exception of this swing high right there, which is the top of this little window of opportunity. If we can get above that swing high, then we have absolutely nothing in the path of us getting to the all-time historic high. Okay? If the market chooses the other direction, and right now everything points north, okay, we're above the BBC, we've got blue and climbing, we're building a green daily candle, so the obstacles overhead are this swing high at 34.2175, and then you've got these two fibs that overlay 34.31/34.34, and then the next obstacle on the way up will be 34.76, And the all-time high, there it is, 35.74. The exact number, 35.76 and a quarter. Okay. All right. Okay. Let's go to our 30-minute chart. S&P. Okay. Now, these are this week's current weekly trading zones. 3418/19, 3383/84, 3340/41. Price goes from zone to zone to zone. We've been publishing these zones since December 14th of 2009. Okay? Three things, and only three things, happen when price reaches a weekly trading zone. Consolidation, consolidation, rejection, and then the slice, which is where price slices through a zone like it's not even there. I don't have a good example of that up on the screen to show you right now, but as I come across one here during the show, I'll point it out to you. Now, we're above the BBC, so that means we're looking for higher prices. We've got blue and climbing. That means we're looking for higher prices. Now, last night's Concierge Trade Alert for the S&P was to consider being long. And if you didn't grab a screenshot and you still want to grab a screenshot, go ahead. We haven't quite got there yet, so I want to make sure you got it. 3402. So the idea here is you want to be long the S&P at 3402. Okay. Now, what sort of obstacles do we have? Well, the only obstacle we have at this point, once we get above 3402, this swing high at 3412.75, that is a potential obstacle. It's at that point that you want to tighten up your stop, or from 3402 to 3412, you could simply take your profit. Okay, that would be a 10-point move. The S&P pays $50 a point, so that's $500 per contract traded. If you want to hang in there and see if it can make the zone overhead, you're welcome to do so, but by all means, trail a stop. Okay. Now, on the flip side, last night's Concierge Trade Alert said to consider being short 33.28, which we can see price never quite got there. It's still an important price. It's still an important area. So if the market should roll over at any point, make sure you've got that number highlighted and notated on your chart. Okay. And remember, I said everything between your two lines in the sand, that's the market making up its mind. Big picture, what it really wants to do. And what I mean by that is, does it want to try to take out this resistance and make a run at the all-time historic high? Or does it want to fold its tent and head in the other direction, back down to the zone at 3340/41? If price were to cross below the BBC, bearish cross, coming down this area right here, right where that bullish cross happened, okay, that's potential support for price coming down. If price can get through that support, then it's on down to this weekly zone, which again we would expect to be good support, and we would need to take out that swing low before we trigger this short. Now throughout the day there will be potentially multiple S&P trade alerts delivered via Logic 247 in the Telegram channel. The criteria for posting an alert in the Telegram channel is whenever opportunity presents itself. That's it. Nothing more, nothing less. When the structure of the market presents us with opportunity, a window of opportunity, as I like to call it, that's what you're looking for. Okay? All right, let's go to the Dow. That's going to be, my charts came undocked. I got to redock them. Okay. Last night's alert on the Dow was to be long 28,280, and as we can see, that has not triggered. Now there were Logic 247 alerts along the way. And on the flip side, for the Dow, consider being short 27,465. So we've had a pretty quiet sort of an inside day here. Unusual to see this many, or to see two of the major indices, 27465, not trigger. Those of you that tune into the show every day for the last many years, we've been broadcasting live since April of 2005, but I think it was about 2010 when we added the video component, and so you can actually go back on youtube.com/CFRN and you can watch each and every daily broadcast. You probably don't want to watch the entire broadcast, but you can fast forward up to the part where we're doing the recap, both what Michael does in the room, what I do with the alerts outside of the room, and you can find out what happened. Okay? So on the Dow, two important lines in the sand. Eventually price will make up its mind. It will take out one of those two. Let's go to the Russell. Okay. All right, last night on the Russell, consider being a long 1594, which happened right here. By 1594. Now the Russell pays $50 a point. Swing high on this move was 1607. So that's 13 points. 1607, yeah. 13 points at $50 a point. And my calculator, hiding somewhere here. Here we go. 13 times 50, $650 per contract traded. If you've earned the right to trade more than one contract, then it's $650 per however many contracts you earn the right to trade. Now, we never do the woulda, coulda, shoulda kind of stuff that you see in so many other places. Well, here's a historic chart. If you'd have gotten in here, or if you'd have gotten out here, wow, look how much money you would have made. Well, this is a live chart, and this alert went out to all of our traders at 6:15 p.m. Eastern last evening. So we trade in the morning right in front of you. Michael's putting on, taking off trades in the live market in real time. And all the alerts that come out, whether they're in the logic channel or the concierge channel, you're always notified before it happens, okay? Not after. And no matter what happens, the good, the bad, or the ugly, yeah, we cover it all. Because that's the truth about trading. Anyone out there who tells you they've come up with some miracle cure for never being stopped out again, I'm sorry, but they have misled you. If you go way back to Genesis, when God created Adam, he gave Adam a lot of incredible abilities, qualities. But what he didn't give him was the ability to know the future or to change the past. And those two things are inextricably linked for eternity. So when somebody tells you that they figured out a way to read tomorrow's headline today, you need to understand that that doesn't fall under the category of truth. That falls under the category of really good ad copy designed to separate you from your hard-earned cash. Now the short side for the Russell last night was down at 1561, and we can see that that number did not trigger. We had logic alerts that triggered, but here where we draw our two lines in the sand at the beginning of the session, which starts at 6 p.m. Eastern every night, Sunday through Friday, the decision, the market's making up its mind. It gets above weekly trading zone. We have a bullish cross. We trigger. Now, you get an initial trigger, 1594, runs up to, 1596.9. So, the Russell pays $50 a point. So just from 94 to 96, they call it $100 per contract traded. But then we get back below the trigger and we trigger a second time. So this is what I mean about important prices, important areas, almost always being tested. Beautiful example of this. And I really do encourage you to go back and review videos, youtube.com/CFRN. Go back a week, go back a month, go back a year, as long and as far as it takes for you to see the continuity of what we do. We're saying the same thing, using the same indicators, because the market, the principle upon which the market operates has been the same and has not changed since the inception of the markets. I realize that's a real deep thought, but the deeper you dig, the more truth you'll find in that. Okay? People change, politics change, world situations change, but the market moves between support and resistance. Back to support, back to resistance. We've not tried to outfox the market, outthink the market, outrun the market, any of that. We've simply learned to tune in to what it is the market is trying to do right now. What is the market's current obstacle? And what obstacles are there? Or what is the market's current goal? And what obstacles are there between where price is now and price reaching that goal? Over here, we triggered at 1583. This is going back to yesterday. 1583, we ran up to 1595. So that's a 12-point move at $50 a point, $600 per contract traded. And the price got back below the trigger by 3 ticks. Okay, took off again, and from 1583 hit a high at 1617. So 1617 minus 1583, that's 34 points at $50 a point at $1,700 per contract traded. Getting out of the swing high or a swing low is very difficult business, so that's part of the training that we provide, because as you can see, in one fell swoop, in this one candle, that entire $1,700 per contract profit could have been handed right back if you did not take profit on this move back to the week of trading zone. All right, let's go to the NQ. We'll try that again. NQ. There we go. All right. Last night's alert on the NQ was to be long 11,388. Okay. Now this initial swing high took us up to 11,437. 11,437 minus 11,388. It's 49 NQ points at $20 a point. That's what the NQ pays. That's a $980 per contract move. Now remember, important prices, important areas are almost always tested. So we get back below the trigger, trigger again. Currently, we've got a swing high of 11,465 minus 11,388, the entry. That's a 77-point move at $20 a point. That's $1,500, $1,540 per contract traded. And we do not have an exit signal as of yet. Once this step line right here crosses over to the right side of blue and climbing, okay, you've got a bullish move, price is moving higher. Once the step line crosses over, and as long as it stays on the right side of blue and climbing, we're looking for the first red candle that closes below the step line on the right side of blue and climbing. So far, no danger of that happening yet, unless all of a sudden the bottom fell out of the market, like we saw yesterday when that news announcement came out. Right now, the market is just chugging its way higher. Now, the next weekly trading zone is overhead 11,499. Now, these weekly zones go out to the partners every Monday morning at 6:15. All passport holders receive these zones at 6:15 a.m. Eastern. Again, since December 14th of 2009. Price has behaved in the same manner since we first published the zones, and you can see right now 11,499. And what many traders have to overcome is, let's say you're in this trade and you've got a very nice profit going on. You could exit, take your profit, but the chart is giving you no indication to get out. At least not yet. As price approaches, the closer we get to 11,499, blue and climbing is going to follow it up. The step line is going to follow it up. Remember, what you're watching for is for the step line to get on the right side of blue and climbing. Then you're looking for a red candle to close below the step line. And there it is. That's the exit signal price. Okay? And again, when you become a passport holder, one of our very first one-on-one mentoring sessions that we do, I will teach you how to watch for the exit signal, how to recognize it, and how to take action. Okay? All right. So we've covered the S&P, covered the Dow, covered the Russell, covered the NQ. Let's go cover crude oil. There you go. Okay. Crude oil. The alert last night was to be long at 41.05, which obviously we never reached, or to be short 38.80, which again we haven't reached. As you go back and watch previous shows, and just again, you don't have to watch the whole show each day, just scroll up to the part where the recap takes place. It's very rare to see this many days where the Concierge Trade Alerts don't trigger on either side. In fact, we have more days where we have two-sided action than we do days where we don't trigger on either side. So keep that in mind. Okay? Let me give you the numbers again, because there's, even though they haven't triggered yet, they're important numbers. 41.05. And then below us, 38.80. Okay? All right. Next, see, we've already covered the NQ, covered crude, got gold. Let's go to gold. Gold, another flatliner. Okay. See, this is beautiful trading, right? As these two indicators get further and further apart, as long as you're short, that's a beautiful thing. When they come back together, as they always do, when they're traveling parallel like this, that does not represent a good opportunity for trading. So on gold, the alert last night was to be long 1909, which was never reached, or to be short 1874, also never reached. This might be a record for number of Concierge Trade Alerts not triggering in one day. But again, you really owe it to yourself to take the time to go back to watch some of the previous, because if everything had triggered today and everything was a home run and I knocked everything out of the park today, well, okay, yeah, but what about yesterday? What about last week? What about last month? Now, we know past performance is no guarantee of future results. We understand that. However, you don't have much else to base it on, do you? Hopes and dreams, which isn't a very good strategy at all. So see what's happened in the past and understand that the market has certain principles upon which it operates. And as you learn those very basic principles, just what I'm telling you here, you're below the BBC, you know you want to be short. As you approach this weekly trading zone, you know you probably better be thinking about taking profit. Because look what happened. Price gets to the zone, heads the other direction. Okay? All right, and the final one for today is silver. And you see that flat right there? Not conducive for trading. We don't control the markets. whatever happens on the chart, we don't make it happen. We're the guy, back in the old days at the movie theater, if you got there after the show started and the theater was already darkened, there was a guy with a little hat and a flashlight, and he would actually guide you into the darkened theater and shine his little light at the floor and help you not trip over people's feet as you found your way to your seat. So, we didn't make the movie. We're not the actors on the screen. We simply are the guy with the flashlight and the funny hat, showing you the clearest possible path to go to safely make it to your seat. Now on silver, the long side was 24.02, which it looks like we actually might have triggered by a couple pennies. 24.02. Swing high of this move was 24.12. So that's 10 cents. Now, a $1 move in the price of silver. A $1 move in the price of silver. In other words, silver goes from $23 to $24. $1 move pays $5,000 per contract traded. 5,000. So if this went a dime, that would be $500 per contract traded. The short side for silver, 22.90. Not triggered, but make a note, because it very well may become an important number in today's session, and of course the fresh set of Concierge Trade Alerts will come out tonight, shortly after the Globex Open, usually about 6:15 a.m. Eastern. Okay, now one more time for anybody that missed it so far this week. Logic 247, that's the around-the-clock alert service. Okay, alerts may come at 2 a.m. or 2 p.m. There are global markets today. It used to be, Wall Street was all there was. It was the engine that drove world commerce, but not so much anymore. It used to be that on the Globex session, it was the thing, you heard it mentioned occasionally, but certainly major moves never began or ended on Globex. That always happened during Wall Street hours. But more and more often now, we are seeing major moves begin and sometimes end during the Globex session. So, we have traders around the globe. So when our day session is their night session and vice versa. So via the alert channel, we're able to service all of our traders around the globe all of the time. So far this week, since Sunday night, 6 p.m. Eastern, we've issued a total of 35 alerts. 11 of those never triggered. Still waiting on the results of 2. That's given us 22 actionable alerts this week. Now, that's not counting the concierge we just went over. These are just the logic alerts. 2 different things. Only one has been stopped out based on not risking more than $300 per contract per trade. That's 5% of actionable alerts stopped out so far this week, but we still have a week and a half to go, or half a week to go. We've got the remainder of today, all day Thursday, and then all day Friday. And with that, let's go to our good word for the day. Yesterday we talked about the transforming power of gratitude. That was part 1. And so today we'll move on to Part 2. 1 Thessalonians 5:16 says, rejoice always. Gratitude is one of the most powerful tools that you have in your life toolbox. Ever find yourself asking, why me, God? How come you don't answer my prayers? Why doesn't your word work for me like it does for others? Well-meaning friends tell you to keep your chin up, things will get better, but quite frankly, you can't see any light at the end of the tunnel. You can't even see the end of the tunnel. And just when you think things can't get any worse, by the way, never say those words. Pick up your Bible and read 1 Thessalonians 5:16 through 18. Rejoice always, in everything give thanks, as if you're supposed to enjoy your situation. Alexander McLaren said, seek to cultivate a buoyant, joyous sense of the crowded kindness of God in your daily life. Fact is, however, when life overwhelms you, the last thing you feel like doing is giving thanks, right? Sort of counterintuitive. But as Nancy DeMoss observes, unless you just love the way duty feels when it wakes you up at 3 in the morning, or hijacks your plans for your day off, or hands you an unexpected bill that just wasn't in the budget, don't try living this Christian life without gratitude. By sheer willpower and effort, you may succeed in gutting out right responses, but your Christianity, so-called, will be hollow, hard-edged, and uninviting. If all our faith had to offer were words that only fit in a theological textbook, it would be unkind to extend them to someone struggling to survive. True Christ-centered, grace-motivated gratitude fits life's most desperate moments and most difficult situations. When there are no answers, it gives hope. It transforms overwhelmed strugglers into triumphant conquerors. Gratitude is a hard-fought, grace-infused, biblical lifestyle, and its transforming power is reserved for those who know and acknowledge the giver of every good gift and who are recipients of his redeeming grace. And that's our good word for the day. Thanks so much for tuning in. Whoever you are, wherever you are, may God continue to richly bless you with his mercy and with his grace. And I'll see you at the bell.
Remember this, there is no greater return on investment than to see a human life changed and given hope. As always, pray hard and trade safe. Any financial information discussed on this show is simply the opinion of our host, Dwayne Reeves, his co-hosts, and guests. To learn more about trading Emini Futures or to take a 1-week free trial in our live trading room, call 1-866-928-3310. 866-928-3310. Information discussed on this radio program should not be construed as a recommendation to buy or sell any security. Always do your own due diligence and consult with a licensed securities broker or financial planner before making any investment decision.